come in on call just to kind of go over the interaction between you and Lindsay, kind of get both sides of the story, go over some data that was provided to us. We're not the decision makers here. We're just going to kind of be that non-biased party.
Okay.
Present what we present to Paul. He would in turn make the decision on what type of action should be taken from this.
Okay.
Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so no need to be uncomfortable. I understand you know being neutral face, Brandon, kind of talk. That's okay.
What's your name again? Sorry.
Herbie. Like
gotcha.
Both like a meet. I don't know if you
remember the movie Herbie?
No.
You don't?
No.
Okay, I just told my age. That's okay. But nonetheless, so if you could provide us with some background, a story to kind of what led up to the interaction between you and Lindsay, whatever you feel is going to be relevant that we should take away from this conversation. So,
when you say background, are you talking about the interactions I've had with Lindsay before?
Just anything that you think will be pertinent to the situation that happened that has brought us here.
Okay.
yeah.
So I think the main focus for this particular issue is professional courtesy. Under Paul's instructions, I've talked with Lindsay 2 other times about her attitude and her undermining, and I specifically have used those words, attitude and undermining. And I have an example of how she was undermining. And Paul, said to have those sit-downs with her. But then the incident that happened on the 19th at about, I would say, 4:23, that was a side of Lindsay I've never seen before, and it was quite alarming. And I'm wondering, and I'll give you a copy if you don't have it of the statement that I gave to Paul to address to HR and the administration, because I wrote him an email later that I called him very upset with Lindsay's behavior. Then I wrote him an email about it, and then the next day I came in and I updated the email because I had time to sleep and really think about everything. But I also wanted to do it within a time frame where the details were remembered. And so I sent that over to him in HR and administration because it was addressed to all. And then so I can send you a copy of that. But my biggest thing is I don't know why Lindsay was so upset about me working with Jenna on a project that she wasn't working on. So I'm not sure why she felt she needed to insert herself. And if she does feel that she needs to insert herself, the attitude and behavior that she displayed was completely unprofessional. Now she told me she doesn't have any respect for me in whatever, that doesn't matter, but at the end of the day, this is about professional courtesy. And a threatening attack to say, try me, as I'm walking to my car and as I've already walked away from you.
So back up on that. Why would did she just come up to you and say, try me? Or was there interaction of other conversation that happened to cause the try me? What?
Yeah.
Can you leave?
So, sure. When I left the office, I noticed that the back door didn't close all the way, so I went back to close the back door and she was coming out. And then that's when she proceeded to have this aggressive tone towards me. I walked away from her, and as I was walking to my car, her emotions got so high that I literally was so shocked at what she said, so that when she said, try me, I was so taken aback. And I can send you the report that I sent Paul for those details.
But can you tell us, when you say her emotions got high, but what were the words? What caused her, or did she just say?
Well, she cursed at me first, and then I asked her, why are you cursing?
But what did she say? Can you tell us what she said?
She said, you don't have any authority here. You don't need to be talking to anybody about anything. Or, I'm sorry, I would take the words anything, and that's when she used the word shit. So,
Okay, so you don't have any authority here, so you don't have any, okay, so say that again.
From my recollection, she said, you don't have any authority here, so you don't need to be talking to anybody about shed.
Okay.
But that's also something that happened. So that particular quote said so just to be clear, when someone's emotions are that irate and out of control, it's very hard to keep a level head and understand exactly what they're saying and decipher it from their emotions. And because I was not expecting to be followed into the parking lot with that kind of emotion, and just like anyone, if someone's yelling at you, it's hard for you to remain balanced and not have your emotions match their level, but then also to listen critically. I don't expect anyone to remain so calm that they're going to have a detailed play-by-play of what happened. I think that's almost impossible, but I can give you summaries of what happened, which is what I did in the report that I filed to Paul and Debbie Haley.
Do you felt she followed you? Because you used the words for someone to follow me out the parking lot. Do you think she was following you from when you left?
Yeah.
Just to have that interaction, the altercation with you?
Yeah. Because she, as I was walking to close the door, she came out and she said something to the effect of, hey Liz, and then it just took off to a very emotional state with her.
And your response to her was more, I know you stated you were taken aback. Did you provide the same level of emotion back to her, or was it always kind of remaining?
No, because I was like, why are you so upset I'm training her? And she was still at that high emotion, and then I asked, why are you cursing? And then that's after she gave me that explanation, I'm like, okay, whatever, and I walked away.
So were you calm, or were you a little bit heightened, or?
I wouldn't say I was heightened. I would say that I was shocked, because that was just so weird. Again, when you're working with an intern on a project that has nothing to do, like, she's not involved in that project, so I'm not sure why she decided to insert herself in that project, and then why her tone was so.
What was the situation with your interaction with Jenna? What did she feel was out of place to where she had to approach you about it?
Yeah, so there's this thing called netiquette, right? It's an internet etiquette, if you will. And everybody knows that when you're writing emails, things can be misinterpreted. So it's best to, if you see something, like if an intern is writing an email particularly, and if you're following the organizational chart and all that goodness, there's a tone to be maintained, so that, and it's never going to be perfect, but you can do your best to make sure that your tone is not aggressive, hostile, or agitating, or anything like that. And so I was correcting Jenna, one of our interns, to help with her tone. And I didn't think anything was wrong, because Jenna, she replied back, she was like, I'm really working hard to do this and everything like that. What do you suggest? She's asking questions, and I'm giving it to her, like I'm supposed to do to coach interns. So I'm not sure exactly why or where Lindsay needed to be so upset at that situation.
And so basically, when you gave Jenna the feedback, she actually responded and asked for this clarification?
Yeah.
You don't by chance have those emails?
Excuse me?
Do you have those emails?
Yeah, I can send them to you.
Lindsay is viewed in office?
In this office?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I can't, I'm not going to speculate or assume I know the other opinions or people or however everybody feels about her, but I mean, so I'm not going to do that.
No? That's fine.
Do you have an idea of how people may view you in this office?
No, and I've always been told that what other people think about me is none of my business.
What do you think of this company?
I mean, I don't know how to answer that. I'd feel it.
You feel it's a great company to work for? Do you enjoy the work that you do for the company?
Yeah, I love
People
what I
that you work
do.
with?
Yeah, I love what I do. I love my job. I love all the elements of my job. Sometimes it's stressful, but I mean, I've been in positions prior to this position where it's like, this is what I like to do. I've worked really hard to get in this position, and this is something that I enjoy doing. I like media relations. I like interfacing with clients. I like getting placements. I like coming up with strategic models. I like doing media evaluations. I like doing presentations, all of those things. I like my clients. I like the sitting in on potential closings for business on new business. There's one particular business that I wish we would get because I think it would be an awesome client to have. So my job, yeah, I love my job. Yeah.
So you made pretty serious allegations when you said it was a hostile work environment, because that's why Paul called. Because when someone says it's a hostile work environment, that's pretty serious.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah,
that's,
he told me that.
pardon me?
He told me that.
Right, so that's why he asked for my company to come in, and
Mhm.
since I knew you, that's why I asked Herbie, because it was more of a neutral party.
Mhm.
So, because I knew both you and Paul, I always just want somebody that doesn't know either party to come in.
Mhm.
So one of the questions is, what are you hoping to happen? Because when it's a serious allegation like that, how do you want resolution?
So I would say that, you know, I'm not asking for a kumbaya, let's all be lock-armed and, you know, like, I'm not asking for that, but I just would like some professional courtesy, that's all. I mean, if she's, whatever role she has with interns, and she feels that she wanted to bring something to my attention, that's fine. Just the way she did it was not cool. And then the last conversation I had with her that I had outside, in the parking lot, and those chairs, like the whatever chairs, you know, I told her because like Paul said, talk to her, and so I've talked to her twice.
So back up, we don't understand what conversation you had in the parking lot.
Yeah, so that conversation, I was like, okay, we need to come to understanding, because there seems to be a lack of respect and a miscommunication between us. And
When was that conversation?
Oh, I have an email where I sent her, hey, do you want to do another lunch? And then she was like, is there something that we need to talk about? And I was like, sure. And I probably can find that email and give you that date.
Okay, because the one thing that I just want for clarification,
Mhm.
just for me, and I think for Herbie as well, hostile work environment and personality differences are two different things.
Mm-hmm.
So is it more of a personality difference between you and Lindsay? Because the conversation right now, it sounds like it's more Lindsay and you. Or is it more that it's Paul, Debbie, people are being hostile to you, or is it just one particular person?
I would say it's one particular person, which is why when I've talked to her, I've said, you know, you don't need to be undermining, because she's interfered with the project before that had nothing to do with her. And I was like, you know, you going to Paul and questioning the work that I did on a client's project that has nothing to do with you is undermining, especially the way that you did it. And I said it calm, and then she gave her feedback, and I'm honestly, I just said, I would just like to have the same kind of respect you treat everybody else in the work environment. And we don't have to get along, we don't have to do anything like that, but for the sake of the business, like, we have to be cordial enough and professional enough to work together.
Okay. So then, because that's just a clarification, because the email that Paul, or the letter that you had put on the letterhead that they shared with us, was that it was a hostile work environment, which is a pretty serious allegation to an organization, because that means that when anybody comes in, that everyone's kind of making it hostile towards you. So just for clarification, it sounds like it's more a personality difference, really conflict between you and Lindsay. So
Okay.
Paul's not being harsh against you, it sounds like. I just want clarification, because that's pretty harsh.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
because then you said that here, parking lot chair conversations, what I just got was the lack of respect. So it sounds like you and Lindsay just have had a conversation previously, so the email on the date would be good.
Okay.
Okay. So, finish that conversation, I'm sorry. You were talking about, you guys had that, and you had a conversation about the lack of respect. So you guys did you guys solve the lack of respect conversation?
Yeah, because I let her vent, because if I'm upset with her, she has every right to obviously be upset with me, so I'm going to let her vent. And so I let what she had to say to get off her chest, which gave me clarification on where she was coming from. So I was like, okay, that's fine. And then I was like, and that was it. Like, I was like, she said what she had to say, I said what I had to say, and I was like, for the sake of the business, let's not continue this tension. And then I asked her, I was like, are we good? And she said, yeah, we're good. And then I walked back into the office.
And how did it go from there? Did it get better? Did it not? Because it sounded like you had resolution after that parking lot chair conversation.
Right.
Did it get better?
I mean, honestly, I wasn't paying attention because I'm really wrapped into my work. But I didn't have any kind of issue with her. I mean, Paul brought us into his office to discuss a project for the company, and she was doing the social media website part, and I was like, I'll do the press release part. And Paul had mentioned the press releases can be the website copy, and I was like, I'll share it with you so you don't have to reinvent the wheel kind of thing. And I didn't have any problems with her. That's why when I walked to my car and this situation happened, I was like, what is this about? Like, literally, like, in my head, I'm like, what is this? What is going on here?
You mentioned that she was upset with you, so you allowed her to vent, and you kind of say what was on your mind. What were some of the things she shared with you that?
She was mad. So I was sick for 2 weeks. She was mad because in those 2 weeks, she picked up my workload. And she had mentioned something like having to work like 18 extra hours or something like that. And she was like, do you think you can do this to me, or what? Something like that. And I was like, okay, noted. She doesn't like the fact that that happened. Which for anyone, that can be stressful. It's like someone's out of the office and you have to pick up their work, and you're gonna be a little tense after that and upset. Okay. She also was like, you don't talk to me in the office. She also said, which I texted Paul, and I was like, she wants me to talk to her more. So that's one thing I can do, which I tried. And then, what else? She said something like, why do you walk in the office with your head down? And then she was like, why do you leave at certain hours? And I was like, I'm walking in the, and she kept saying, you don't have to defend yourself, which I thought was weird. But then I was like, I walk with my head down in the office because a lot of times I'm thinking about how to work more efficiently. And I don't want to talking hot. That breaks my concentration. So I'm focused and concentrating on stuff. And then I leave early, or I leave because there's things I have to do outside of the office, like meetings with clients, taking photos, there's things I have to do. So I don't know. So I let her say, what she had to say, and I was like, and she told me then she lost respect for me, and so I said, okay, So because of those incidents, you lost respect for me? And she was like, yeah. And I was like, all right. And I didn't have a response because I don't have to try to be her friend or anything like that. But I was like, okay, she vented and I understand it. So I'm going to do my part the best that I can to talk to her more and everything like that. But there's not much we have to talk about because we don't work on the same accounts. Which is, again, going back to the reason why I'm like, why are you so upset on this project I'm working on with the intern? It has nothing to do with you. And like the whole incident with Instacredit Honor March sunglasses, like we had talked about this Hispanic festival that they were sponsoring, and we had talked about, you know, things that we can do because Instacredit has a history of supporting the Hispanic fiesta is what it is in Florissant. And one of the things that Paul suggested was to have some sunglasses, those funky 80s sunglasses, and put the Instacredit stickers on it. So I had to coordinate that. We got it done. It's all ready. The interns are putting the stickers on the sunglasses. They dropped them off, and then Lindsay was like, she goes, is this what the client wanted? She goes, let me see that. And she was like, is this what the client wanted? And I was like, in my office, like, why do you care? And then she went to Paul and was like, is this what they wanted? And I was like, you are not on this account. Or whatever. I'll just talk to her later about that, which I did. And I told her in that conversation outside on the patio that was undermining. Like, why are you doing that? Again, because Paul told me to talk to her. And I told Paul yesterday, or after Lindsay had that incident in the parking lot, I told Paul, I was like, Paul, I've talked to her. I've done everything that you've told me to do. I'm sending you this report because I don't know what else to do, but I'm not going to have her threaten me. Like, that is completely out of bounds.
So her title is PR assistant. You're the senior vice president of PR.
I don't know. I think her title is social media director.
Okay. She had said that she was PR assistant, so.
She's a PR assistant?
I don't know. That's what she had mentioned earlier, so. We don't have, like, official titles. That's what she had said, so.
On the web. All right, well, on the web.
We didn't look at the website or anything, so.
Okay.
She just said so.
On the website, last time I checked, Paul's president, then you have partner, then you have, I think it's Debbie, who's media director. Then
we didn't look at the website before we came in.
We have cards.
We didn't get a card. We just came in and we were asking questions.
Okay.
That's all we know. So.
Okay.
So she said she was, PR assistant when she came in here, so that's all we know.
Maybe she got a promotion since.
Right. So we don't know.
Okay. I didn't know either.
Okay. All right. Anything else?
No, I don't like being threatened, and I really felt that she was trying to threaten me because she got in her, after she said it, she got in her car and slammed the door, and I'm like, so.
And how did she threaten you? She said that she didn't, going back, what were the actual threatening words to you?
So that's really stretching my memory because
if somebody threatens you.
She said, and if this doesn't stop, try me. And I was like.
And you said nothing to her to make her say, try me.
I said, Lindsay, as I walked away, I was like, you're going to have to watch how you talk to me. And she's just like, you are in no position, yada, yada, yada. And she said all this stuff. And then I was like, man, you do not need to be talking to me like that. And then she was like, if you think this is, I really don't even know what she said because I was like, she's continuing and elevating her voice at me, which for me has just stopped logically. And I was like, are you serious? So my response to her was like, no, you try me. Because I was like, what is this? Like, are you serious? And that's what I thought was the threat. I honestly felt like she was like, try me, like keep testing me, I'm gonna do something to you. That's how I interpreted that. And when you say like, try me out, like, I don't, so maybe this is a culture thing, but I feel like in like culturally, when someone says, you know, try me like that, that's a threat.
Okay. I mean, because typically if someone says that they're going to threaten me, I would remember it. I mean, when you say something threaten me, you typically remember what the threat is.
Yeah.
So you said earlier that she threatened you. So you've kind of switched.
No. So she positioned herself to say things that were basically saying, like, I'm putting you in your place. Don't talk to the intern like this. You have no authority over here. And if you don't think this is going to stop, or if you continue to what you're doing, try me and see what happens. That's like Dr. Phil's girl, catch me outside now and whatever. How about that? That's the same thing that happened.
And then you said you're gonna have to watch how you talk to me, is what you said.
No, my reply back to her was, you know, you try me.
Okay, so I've talked to you, we've asked you several times, and you just said a minute ago, you're gonna have to watch how you talk to me. So you're not saying that you said that now.
In sequence, Lindsay walks out the door. She says, you have no authority to talk. You need to watch how you talk to Jenna. You have no authority over here. My reply was, I'm training her as an intern. She was like, you don't need to be training explicit. That's first. Then I say, okay, Lindsay, and I walk away. As I'm walking away, I say, you need to watch how you talk to me. When I said that, she's like, you are in no position to tell people how to talk to, and then that's when I literally was like, whoa. And then I'm walking to my car. Her car is literally a space or two spaces to the left of mine as I was facing it. And I was about to get in my car, and that's when she was like, if you don't stop what you're doing, and you think that she said, if you don't stop something, or whatever. But when she was like, you know, it got escalated even more. But when she was just like, if you don't stop what you're doing, try me. And then she gets in the car and slams the door. And I'm standing outside of my car, and I'm like, no, you try me. And then that's when I got in the car, and I immediately called Paul.
But you just said that she slammed the door, was already in the car, and then you said you try me. So
No. She was walking to her car. I was walking to my car. Before she got in the car and slammed the door, she said, try me. I'm still standing outside of my car. So she says, try me, gets in the car, slams the door. I'm still standing outside of my car. And then I said, try me. No, I said, no, you try me. I know exactly what I replied to that. What was that?
Her window was down or something?
No, her window was up.
So you really want to talk to anyone when you said try me?
No, it was towards her. I don't know if she heard me or not, but it was towards her.
All right. Anything else?
Nope.
All right. You have anything else, Rudy?
No.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Appreciate it.